Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode 20 of No Man's Sky Explorers podcast. I'm Ryan.
I'm Joelle.
Oh, hi.
The one and only.
I'm Science Dad.
Science Dad, he's back. And not only one surprise guest, another surprise guest. Introduce yourself, sir.
It's just Jared. Just me. Nothing special, really.
Yay.
It's
Just
me.
Jared
Just
from
me.
the most popular YouTube channel in existence, Just Jared, No Man's Sky, which I hear is possibly changing a little
It's
bit. Should I
definitely
even say
changing.
Just Jared, No Man's Sky?
That's what it is currently.
Okay.
But it will not be that in a few days. So
Okay, I'll have to update because I'm going to link you in the thing, so I'm going to have to update that.
yeah, that's fine.
He's just changing the name of his channel.
I'm changing everything. It's fine. Don't even. I'll still talk about No Man's Sky, just not.
We'll talk about
terrible.
that a little bit
Yeah,
later if you want
yeah,
to.
Definitely.
Just so people don't get the wrong idea here.
And we have our two guests here today to make up possibly for our lack of Dylan.
Again!
And no
Possibly.
show in turn.
Make up
I wish-
possibly.
Possibly.
Wait.
I mean, who could ever replace Dylan? He's literally like God, basically.
It's the only reason I listen to your show, to be honest. So I don't know why I'm here now.
Ouch.
No, just kidding.
Oh, man.
Ryan's gonna cry.
So we're going to try our best to kind of segregate the audio. So, there's generally one person talking at a time. We'll try our best. Can't guarantee it.
It won't work, right?
It won't work. And we're going to be keeping it pretty simple. We're going to be asking each guest kind of what they think of the game and how their experiences have been. And then just a couple things from our community from the discussion page as well. Can I have that? Or do you want to do that?
I can do it.
Okay, Joelle's going to do some quick things here.
All right. Well, before we get started here, we want to shout out some thanks to our supporters. To everyone on Patreon who supports us and donates. You're amazing. Slightly crazy, but amazing.
Still, yes.
Slightly.
Yeah. I don't want to insult them too much, then they'll take our money away.
Don't take our money away.
Big shout out to the Gurns for just being awesome.
You're awesome. And just a quick thing, he streams like a stupid amount. So if you guys are into, I mean, he does a lot of streaming. He does No Man's Sky streaming, but he does a lot of different things. You guys should check him out. His link is in the description.
Yeah, I watched the
Incoming
streams. They're
football.
actually pretty good. Pretty good.
And someone's calling me on my phone
Uh-oh.
right when we're trying to read off of the thing.
Unprofessional.
It's actually unprofessional that I'm not answering it because I'm supposed to be working right now.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's after 10.
Wow.
It's okay. If they call me like 8 more times, I'll.
Was it or
J-
it the ones you
8 more.
first answered?
8 more times.
if they call me like 8 more times, I'll answer. Just wait for it to go away. Just let it go.
So we're waiting here for the call to end so I can get back to the document.
I can't reject it or else they'll know.
Oops.
I'm assuming this is gonna be cut from the podcast.
Probably not.
No, it's fine. I don't care.
All right.
No? Okay.
So to continue here, thank you to everybody on our discussion page YouTube channel who asked us questions. Yeah.
Is that it?
No, and we have 750 subscribers.
We already talked about that last week.
Well, why is it on the freaking list?
I forgot to take it off. Joelle, you ruined everything.
Oh man, I'm gonna kick you.
Wow.
Oh, I should have taken that off. I'm sorry. So, a quick discussion, a little bit. I recommend if you guys had to stop playing No Man's Sky for either technical issues of any sort on the PC version or even technical issues on the PS4 version, like your galactic waypoints not working properly, I recommend you check out the game again because as of 1.07, it has literally fixed every issue I've ever had with the game when it comes to a technical standpoint. So I recommend if you were stopping playing for those reasons, you should check it out. Also, on the Steam version, I would probably update to the newest experimental patch because it seems like frame rates are a lot steadier now using that version, so I recommend it, or just wait for the official patch to come out a little bit here. All right, so we're going to start off talking to Just Jared
That's
about
me.
some of his impressions of the game and things that he liked and didn't like and stuff like that, and his overall impressions. So, without further ado, Jared, what were your just straight up overall impressions of the game? Just overall.
Overall impressions. I like it a lot. There you go.
So yeah,
Overall
you enjoy
impressions.
it.
I like the game so much. And the only thing that kind of disappointed me was the crafting, and that's because we were it said that we were supposed to have really deep crafting, like Minecraft crafting, that we didn't really get. But other than that, everything, like if I had to rate it out of 10, I would rate it a 9, and if I had to rate it out of 5, I would rate it a 5 out of 5. So it's definitely great. Overall, it's just a super awesome exploration game that you can just get lost in completely, and that's what I do every time. Like I was just playing a little bit ago, and I have like
He was
a
actually
goal
late
every time.
on
I'm like, I
Skype
need to
because he
get.
was playing No Man's Sky.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. And I was so in. Yeah. So that's it. I was just so lost in the game there. I was late to this just a bit, but I always have a goal. Like I need iridium, or I need this, or I need to get the milestone, survival milestone that I can now get. That's fixed or something like that, and I always get distracted, and I just walk around, and I get like 45 minutes away from my ship on a planet, and I'm like, what was I doing? And then that's basically worth it when you know that a game, like you get lost in a game that easily. So that's my overall experience with it has been quite delightful, I have to say. So there you go. Is that a good
Awesome.
answer?
Yeah,
That's
pretty good.
right? Great.
Um,
Awesome.
So, Jared, let's talk.
Yeah.
Not that wasn't an overall like positive thing there, but let's talk about, because we're going to be talking about negatives and positives and things like that. What are like your high points for the game? Like the highest points that you've had, like your favorite features, things like that.
Okay, favorite features. I still love the galactic map as it is. Like I could just go to the galactic map and just like surf through it, just looking at everything, even though like a lot of it, it's just bright stars, but it's so cool to think, right, that like I was saying earlier to you, Ryan, trying to get to a red star system with 3 planets and 3 moons, and just like going super far away to find it, and then like it redirecting me after I set the waypoint to my home planet, and it literally just goes through the stars for like 10 minutes, and thinking of all those places that you can go to is so cool to see. And I love the variations in ships. Like I'm doing a ship Sunday showcase video now, and people are sending me all their ship images. And Sean said on his live stream during the launch of the game that he even likes just to sit in the space stations and just watch the ships just fly in to see all the different ones.
Yeah.
And that is so cool because I do that a lot, not really to find like everybody now that I talk to is looking for those 48 slot ships and all that. I'm not really into that. I just like looking at really cool ones and getting like really cool looking ships. And I do that, and these people are sending me their images of these ships, and I've just never even seen anything like it in the amount of time that I've been playing it. That's super surprising that how how many variations there are of the ships is really, really awesome.
Yeah,
grammar.
Weirdly enough, I hear people complain about ship variation, but that's actually one of my favorite things about the game. I agree that's one of my big things. I like the ships, and that's actually one of the things I'm struggling with right now because I think my ship looks like crap, but I just bought it for the slots, and it's just this big like piece of crap, and I just want to toss
yours looks
it.
like a Camaro.
Oh boy, here we go.
On cinder blocks. So.
And yeah, that's like I like sit in the space station. I'm looking at all these nice ships coming in. I'm like, no, I don't want to buy a new ship until I save a lot of money so I can upgrade really far. So I'm just like crying every time I land on a planet and I look back at my ship. I'm like, what a piece of crap.
Here's a question for you: are the ships procedurally generated?
Yes, absolutely.
They are too.
You didn't notice that yet?
Well, I thought so, but I wasn't sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. all right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, like they tend to follow like kind of archetypes. Am I saying that right? Archetypes? Archetypes? Archetypes.
Something like that.
Close enough.
I understand.
Close
Yeah.
enough. Let's just spend like 10 minutes of the podcast talking about how to say that word. But yeah, they kind of follow those, but still they have like a lot of variation. And even within those, I've seen some really, really interesting designs that I haven't seen before. And then just the colors and like the way they match, and then like different, like if you ever just like take a second and look at your ship in detail, you'll notice just the small details, and you'll notice that no other ship has that detail that you have on your ship. It's just the little things like the symbols and different things like that. So that is a lot of fun, and I really, really like that, and that's why I hate my ship right now.
Yeah, like my ship is like a huge, like I call it the school bus because it's just bright yellow and it's ginormous. But when I saw it, I never saw something like that before, so I bought it, and I still haven't found anything like my ship. I do want a new one because another big feature for me in the game is just how everything looks. Like everything's so picture perfect all the time, and I'm always taking screenshots of the game.
Oh my god, yes.
And I have so many screenshots, it's unbelievable. But I love taking pictures of my ship in like different like weather or like different sunsets in the background and things like that. But with the ship I have now, it just takes up the entire picture because it's so huge. So I do want a new ship. I do want a new one.
You can't take any pictures anymore.
I can't. No, it takes up the entire photo. I'm like, look at that sunset, and then you can't see anything but my ship. And I'm like, okay, well.
That reminds me, I gotta post those pictures to the discussion page of those giant creatures I found.
Yeah.
Finally, and that's something I wanted to talk about a little bit. I think everybody who's played the game a lot, and I don't know if you've noticed this yet, Mr. Science Dad, is there's kind of like general sizes for creatures. They're not exact, but there seems to be general sizes. Like there's like super tiny, like super tiny creatures, which you may have not experienced, like butterflies, things like that.
Oh,
so
no,
tiny.
not that small.
Yeah, which I've seen before, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then there's small, kind of like baby creatures. And then there's normal size, like a deer or something like that, right? And then there's large, and when you're close to them, you can feel the ground stomp when you're close to them. And then recently, I think I found like the next size up, which was like you're like way on the other side of the map, and you can kind of just see it in the distance, and you can still feel like the ground thumping because it's that big.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, and I took some pictures of them, but like I can walk like clear under them and everything, and they're big, and they're like weird like winged dragony type things with like pig faces.
But you think they're more segregated into different sizes?
I think there's general sizes. Obviously, the weight and the height is always going to vary, but I think there are general sizes. So.
Really? Because I haven't seen the super small or the super large. that you're
Right,
talking
and those
about.
seem to be the hardest to find.
But in between, there seems to be just an almost linear relationship. I don't
Right.
see a lot of cutoffs.
I guess the only reason I make the cutoff distinction is the sound design effect of like the thumping on the ground. That's the
Okay.
only reason I really make that distinction, because it seems to be obvious that the game's code makes that distinction. Like this thing
Makes
is
sense.
within this, and maybe it's still like there is a huge amount of variation, but then it just says, hey, if it's between this weight and this weight, it should make that sound, which might be it. Or like if it was between
Okay.
this weight and this weight, it would make a way louder sound. And to me, it seems like there's a distinction just because of that, and I noticed that the sound design aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, they definitely vary in sizes
Yeah,
even
it's-
between that.
It's really weird how the super small creatures are really rare, as well as the giant creatures. I've only seen super small creatures where they're so hard to see, like it's really hard to actually analyze them.
Right.
I had that problem before they had that update, and like the super small creature I found, it looked like a pancake. It looked like a flying pancake. So I called it flying pancake. But it was like a
Scientific, I like it.
super small circle that you couldn't even analyze. Like when I was in my analyzed visor, all I saw were the red dots. I didn't see what it actually was. It just looked like it was in
It was
the
so
middle of the
tiny.
air. It was so small.
Yeah.
And when it comes
Yep.
to giant creatures, I haven't seen any. We just know that they're in the game now. There was a recent article posted of a person finally finding giant creatures where they were just humongous, like way taller than anything I see now. I see now 6 meters high is like the cap is that I see. And this guy must have been just super huge, super ginormous creatures. Like in the trailers, that kind of huge is how
Oh yeah,
the
and like
video
I
was.
think the best trailer to kind of remind me of this is I don't remember exactly which one it is. I think it's the one where he goes on the snowy planet to trade, and then he leaves and he goes to hyperspace, and then he lands on like a deserty type planet, more like a barren planet. And there's those really big creatures that are making those really cool noises at the end of the trailer.
Yeah.
And I always look back to that one for the max size I could imagine a creature being.
Yeah.
And the ones that I discovered weren't that tall, but they were that big because they weren't upright like that. Like they walked on 4 legs, but they were like that big. They just weren't that tall. Like they were the
Yeah,
same
that was-
weight. It seemed like.
Yeah, that was the E3 2014 trailer.
There you go. You're on top of it.
Yeah. It's alright.
I
It's
don't
my
ever
favorite
know
one.
the names.
It's my favorite trailer.
Yeah, it is really cool. I really like that one. Back when the trading was so simple, all you had to do was land on a landing pad, and it did it automatically.
Right?
That's what it looked like in the trailer.
That's
at least.
exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. I wish they kept it like that. All right. Any other big highs that you can think of, Jared? At the moment, at least.
the entire game is a big high. It's hard to think about lows. Like, as far as lows go, it's just like I just wish
Wait 1 second.
Okay.
I have to ask you that question first. No cheating.
Okay.
This will be official.
Fine.
All right, so let's move on to the next question if we're gonna do that. Okay, so my next question topic is things you think they could improve on or add in an update.
Oh my gosh. Well, we know they're adding. What do we know they're adding? Base building and freighters, which I can't wait for base building. Okay.
And I can't wait for freighters.
I hope it's weird to talk about base building because I talked to people about this before. I don't think it's going to be in depth. Like, it feels like it wouldn't be in depth, but then again,
it shouldn't be. It feels like as well.
Yeah, but then again, they're gonna have to, like, buildings that you can actually build are gonna have to look different because nobody's gonna want to build buildings if they just look like the Corvex building or they just look like the Gek things.
Jared, I got a question for you on that.
Yeah.
Do you remember the episode of the podcast? You don't have to remember this precisely, but we actually talked about base building and what before we even knew that it was going to be in an update at all. We were saying if they were going to add base building, what we thought it would be like. Do you remember that one?
I'm gonna have to say no.
Not even a true fan. So our, or at least my theory was that base building would have to be based around it had to be based around assets that the artists could create, so they could keep the art style correct, and they didn't just do like voxel-based building of any kind. So what I figured is same thing with like if you wanted to build a space station sometime or something, that it would be like, here's a preset building, but you can adjust like this room to do this or this room to do this, and you can upgrade it to become larger and things like that.
Okay.
But you didn't actually build it from scratch. That's kind of what I thought it might be. What do you think?
See, I kind of agree with that in the fact that, like, that is what I think it will become or something alongside of that, but I don't want it to be that. I want it to be, like, the most in-depth thing. I wish that would become, like, something, because if we, like, go to Minecraft really quick, I like Minecraft because of the building. I could care less about the survival aspect of Minecraft at all. I just loved building things, and I had a group of friends. We always played Minecraft. They made food and stuff to survive, and I just built what people wanted built because I just like to build. And what I did by myself was I always created a seed and would build something really, really cool and then leave it and just move on, like take a few pictures, move on, and then when I get back to it on Minecraft, I'd be like, wow, I built that like 3 months ago, and like kind of reminisce on building it. Because I built like huge things that took a long time, and that's kind of what I want to do in No Man's Sky. I would like, if it was in depth, what I would do would build something and then leave it in hopes that I would see it again in the future, kind of deal. Even though it's really rare, but it was also like that in Minecraft. So that's kind of what I want it to be. Do I think it's going to be like that? Not even close, to be honest.
See, and I'm kind of like, I'm different. So like, actually, you brought up that Minecraft point. When me and Joel play Minecraft, it's exactly the same. Joel does the building, and I do the surviving.
Yeah.
So I think
I wouldn't say there's much surviving. You die often.
I try to survive. I do all like the gathering of the resources.
You
and
gather,
then Joel builds
you
everything.
die, then you get mad and rage quit, or you either spawn back and burn down the house.
Well, yeah, I have to end it with the burning down the house. So I'm more like some people are more creative, but I want more like of a structured gameplay mechanic, and that's just my preference. Like your preference is fine too, but for me, and not saying this is the way it's going to be, I'd almost prefer it if it was more basic and simplistic. And we can hear a couple varying opinions on this, but like I would prefer it if I could see what the next upgrade is, or if I want to build this part of this building, I need these materials. And then if I go collect them, I can upgrade it to do this, or I can upgrade it to do that. Or like if I want to add a hangar or like a place where I can land my ship, I need these specific resources. And then it would just build it for me. Almost, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just me because I'm not very creative, and I would make everything look like crap. So everything would just be a square if I built it, you know, like in Minecraft when I build my house. So that's my opinion. What do you think, Science Dad?
What
would you, just opinion-wise, what would you prefer for the mechanic? Because they have already said it's going to be in an update.
Okay. What I loved about Fallout was the ability to take prefab, but go nuts with it. You can decide to do whatever you want with a small prefab module that they provide you, and then take it to the extremes that you want. So to me, that's kind of the best of both worlds. You want to make a square hangar? Go ahead and make a square hangar. If I want to make a 3-level whatever for my settlement, I can go ahead and do that too.
Right.
So if you provide the basics, yeah, you can, I think that would satisfy both. I prefer to have the imagination. Let it go wild if you want.
A way to cater at least to both sides as well.
Right. But if you want the simplistics, Fallout still gave you that ability to just say, okay, here's a prefab shelter, just boom, build it, plop
Right.
it, we're ready to go.
Right.
So
What do you think, Joelle?
What are we talking about? Personal preference or what?
Personal
would
preference.
Be, okay.
Not realistic at all. It doesn't have to be.
My personal preference, just for the style of game that No Man's Sky is, would just have a blueprint and that's it. Customization would be at a minimum when it comes to building.
You'd prefer it to kind of guide you through it almost?
Yes, for anyone who played the Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds.
Oh, man, you're talking about
It's old, and Ryan makes fun of me for it so much, but I love it. Just that one simple blueprint. There's a few different variants here and there, but you don't, that's it. And I like that.
Wow, we have entirely varying opinions on this.
I don't feel that it needs more No Man's Sky, because to me, the game's not, sedentary in that sense, so I wouldn't worry about it too much.
But
I
it
just-
could be.
I don't-
It could be, but
I'm only on my I just jumped to my 4th solar system.
you could be, but that's just not my game.
Right.
Play.
But you
with
could
it.
spend your entire gaming time just in one solar system.
You could.
If you wanted to.
Hey, how many hours do you think you have in the game already with just those 4 solar systems?
I'm afraid to find out, actually.
Well, according to Mom, it's too many.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
All right, so sorry to cut off on that, Jared. You were talking about some things you'd like to see added to the game and stuff like that. So continue. I'm sorry.
Was I cut off? I don't remember.
Yeah, we just started talking about building.
Well, yeah, no, I was gonna say something about base building again. I just don't want it to be a feature that they add and then 2 days later everybody just done it, and that's it. I don't want it to be a feature that comes and goes. I want it to be something that makes people come back to the game, if that's even going to be possible at this point. We're not even
Right.
going to get into that, but other features that they can. I want them. I think what they'll do. I think eventually they'll add more blueprints, like upgrades and things like that. Hopefully, I don't know exactly what they'll add. It seems like there's not an Omega upgrade for everything, at least that I found. I don't know if they're super rare, but I've only found one Omega upgrade.
Yeah, I've only found like 2, I think.
Yep.
So I don't know, and I don't think nobody's found an Omega hyperdrive yet, have they?
There's rumors, but I'm pretty sure no one's found it.
I'm not sure what exactly that would, enable you to go to, because we've seen all the colored stars and things like that, at least that we know of.
Right.
But as far as other features, it's hard to kind of think of things, because I would love to be able to fly low on the PS4. That would be great. Just because that seems like it'd be super fun to do.
I was actually showing Science Dad here all my mods for the PC version right before we started.
Yeah.
That was cool.
He did like it quite a bit. So.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know of all of them. I just know of Fly Low and
I had Deep Space and Fly Low on. That was about it.
yeah.
So the space was like pure black, which I like both ends of the spectrum. I really like the artistic vision of Hello Games, but I also think it's cool to just turn on that mod and experience it in a different light, sort of. So
Yeah, and you can find black space in No Man's Sky. I have
I actually
a
have
system
found
that I
some.
found
sure.
in, and that was one of my favorite systems to be in because I took so many pictures. It's unbelievable.
Right.
I went to a planet, it's just barren, but it just looks so cool with the bright sun and it still being really
Right.
black.
and then on top of that, when you're playing the PS4 version and you find nebulas that literally twist and turn while you look at it, that's something that that I love. When I find those, I'm just staring at it for 30 minutes at a time. So
Yeah. I think that basically covers, I don't know, whatever we were talking about.
we all ramble. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Okay, so Science Dad, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm just making a note actually here.
He's been
Because
taking notes this whole
Jared
time.
brought up a good point here, and I just thought of something that may enhance the base building
Oh, sure.
experience. So, yes, I'm ready.
Okay, sure. So let's go over your overall impressions of the game.
Oh, wow.
As let's start as vaguely as possible because we're going to go into good things and bad things. Let's start vague and just say, how do you feel about the game generally?
Boy, I couldn't even watch your live stream opening night because I was actually face down sick in bed. So I didn't get the chance to actually even open No Man's Sky until 2 days later.
Oh, the pain.
And it was. But boy, that just even that opening segment when you're flying through the galaxy and those stars are flying by you, and that initial spawn, I was just blown away.
Right.
I was just completely blown away by it. I remember Joelle saying in one episode that of the podcast that there's some games where she jumps into it and is either disappointed at the difficulty or gets frustrated with it and has to get PO'd with the game first before she can really settle down and enjoy it.
Right.
I didn't have that with this game.
Right.
I mean, I knew nothing. I didn't listen to anything. I didn't watch anything. I didn't do anything. I came into it cold. And I didn't have that effect. All I wanted to do was keep going, keep learning, keep exploring. And that's what I'm still finding myself doing. I can't get myself to leave a solar system because I'm like, what am I missing? There's more in here. There's more on this planet. There's more to do. What am I missing? But I'm forcing myself to jump and jump and jump to be able to grow.
Right.
I absolutely love the game. There's nothing competitive except myself. And that's what I really like. I'm not up against someone else halfway across the world. I'm not competing against, I'm ranked 1 billionth in this game. I don't care about that. I can do it at my own pace. I can look at as much as I want, skip as much as I want, and do what I want and not have to worry about anything else. So I'm absolutely thrilled with that part of it. I think the biggest thrill for me was the sound.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! We've got it hooked up to a Dolby surround sound with our TV. The whole room is wired for full surround sound, and oh my gosh! Joelle's mom has to yell at me quite often to turn it down because it is amazing when you hear those animal sounds coming from all different areas of the room and behind you, in front of you, to the side. I mean, it's the sound just blows me away.
And being the not college graduate that I am.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Do you want to sleep on the couch again tonight?
Anyway, since Joelle's so mean to me, when I was in college, I had a lot of courses in sound design, and that was actually one of the most fun I had in college, was learning about sound design and how it works and everything, especially video game sound design, which is really interesting. But as soon as I turned on No Man's Sky, and this is when I played it early, me, Dylan, and Joelle sat on the couch and we turned it on, and this is like before the first patch or anything, but still, it was a similar experience when we started it. And I've never screamed so loud without realizing I was screaming. Like everything we were seeing, we were like, I was like, oh my God, look at that. That's a planet. This is this and this is that. And it was just
It wasn't just Ryan either. Dylan
was
on
screaming
it.
too.
Gavin
And
was
he's
here
just
and doing
that's
it.
a plant. That's what a plant looks like. Oh my God.
I mean,
And
our walls here are thick, but oh man, the poor neighbor.
and sound design especially, and playing this game with headphones is incredible. It really is incredible, especially even the procedural sound design, amazing. The soundtrack, the way that it kind of sways and moves with the things you're doing, it sounds truly incredible. It's really good. It's spot on. I have no complaints about it. So
yeah, the sound is remarkable. The first podcast I was on, remember I had talked about I was disappointed in a lot of the trailers. Everything seemed so homogenous. There was not the variation that we really see in life as we know it on this planet. The upgrades that they made to that, to this current version, is amazing. I mean, from the plant forms, whether they're above water or below water, to the animal life, It's amazing. It's one of the things that I was very happy that they fixed. Otherwise, I think I would have been more disappointed
Right.
in the game if they hadn't. And I think you had mentioned at one point, Sean had told them, cut loose, cut things loose, let it become more spontaneous, more extravagant. And I'm glad he did, because that really makes the game. Every time you land on that new planet, you're just wondering, what the heck are you going to find here?
Right, absolutely.
And it's really cool.
And I think if there seems to be a disconnect with some players that are looking for more like a streamlined experience. If you are into exploring, this game is like you land on a planet, and if you sit down and you look at this plant and this tree, and you really experience like what the game is giving you, the variety is incredible.
It
Like,
is.
It really is, and that's something I definitely would never complain about. I mean, it's really good. And like you said, you were kind of disappointed, even though I never had that same disappointment that you had with the trailers. And I think you were also looking at it in a more scientific sense and stuff like that. But ever since like you start playing the game and you look underwater and you see like the algae, or not the algae, but the, I don't know what,
Seaweed or
seaweed,
whatever
all
it
that
happens
stuff,
to be, yes.
and all the different variations of it, and then like how different the life in the planet is above water and below water. The game surprises you constantly.
It does.
And let's say you go like 5 hours and you're not surprised, like something will surprise you. Like the more you play, you just,
Yes.
and it's something like, I think, pretty sure I've played over 100 hours now. And
Oh,
things
wow.
still
I'm
surprise
sorry,
me.
Joel.
For sure.
I'm really sorry.
That's my favorite thing about the game is I don't have to play it all the time, but when I do play it, something always surprises me, and I see
It
something
does.
new. So
It absolutely does. And it's a game I think made for me. There's part of me that loves a competitive gaming experience at times, and Joel can attest to that with my gaming language that comes out at certain times.
It's lovely.
Yeah. But this really is, I think, what I was hoping it would be. You can do whatever you want, for how long you want, as long as you're able to stay alive. And you never know what you're going to find. That's what I like.
don't always need direction.
No, and that's the other thing. I find myself constantly thinking in this game. In so many other games, it gets to be habit. It's the same. It's the same controller. I don't know what I call it, stroking all the time.
Right.
You're just doing the same thing. Oh, I got to do this. I got to do this now. I got to do this. But this one, I'm constantly thinking. Okay, what? And Jared kind of alluded to this too. What do I have to do? I get distracted. Oh my gosh. Okay, I need that. I got to go get that resources. Oh, that planet that I was on had that resource. Let me go back there and get that and
Right.
do this. I'm constantly thinking in this game. And maybe that's just the nerdy, scientist in me, but I'm constantly thinking about what I'm doing, what I need to do next, and that keeps me going.
Okay, well, let's move on to the next question here.
Sure.
Favorite things in the game, highest points, things that if you were going to talk to somebody who hadn't played the game, you'd mention first.
Oh, wow.
You already mentioned sound design, but
The sound design is fantastic. You've got to appreciate that. But I think the next greatest thing would be when you take off when you finally get your ship ready, functional on that first planet, and you get to take off into space, and you get that first view of everything around you. And I had spawned in a solar system of 4 planets. All of them were completely different, and you could just tell from looking at them from space that they were different worlds. That was just so cool. I just remember that feeling like, oh wow, this is something I've never experienced before. And then coming into that next planet and that re-entry, not knowing what to expect, and I think they made it pretty realistic.
Really?
With that burn. I mean, coming in, the controller's shaking in your hand. You see the flames around you as you're entering the atmosphere of that planet. that's how I kind of would expect things to be. Not like in Star Wars, well, come on, Chewie, we're going to land here, and you don't witness the true re-entry.
It skips the atmosphere
right,
part
it
every
just
time,
skips the
yeah.
whole atmosphere part. But this is what it would really be like. You've got to enter an atmosphere, and you're traveling at a tremendous speeds.
Right.
So there's
Minus, of course, all the thinking that would normally go behind landing on a planet, right?
Well, I don't care what species you are. All this stuff has to be computerized. Even our beginning astronauts had to have computer programs so that the capsule was at the correct angle, correct trajectory, so that it was not too shallow or too steep coming into the atmosphere. So, there's only so much humans can do.
Right.
So to me, I'm not worried about that. Okay, here, just press a button and I can enter an atmosphere. I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
I think it's still fairly realistic.
So those are your bigger favorite things?
Yeah, I think just those are two things that really have stood out so far.
Okay. Alrighty, so what things do you think could improve on in the game, and what things do you think they should add in an update?
Wow. Couple of things that I think they do need to fix, and we've talked about these two things. One thing I think is an easy fix, and maybe I'm not looking at this correctly, but if I'm on a barren planet with absolutely no fauna, animal life, I'm still hearing animal sounds on the planet. So why am I hearing animal sounds if there's no animals on the planet?
That's a great
big
question.
So to me, that needs to be fixed, just to create
That
a more...
should be a really easy fix.
Yeah.
It should be an easy fix to do, unless they're saying these sounds are being created by other things.
Right, unless there's a reason behind it.
There's a reason behind it, but I haven't figured that out yet. And the other thing, and we've gone back and forth on this, and I'm not sure if it's something they can actually fix, but I'm a big miner. That's how I earn a lot of my money for the upgrades that I've done. And I do a lot of scouting via ship, just cruising over the planet, looking for big resources, landing, mining. So I'm skirting around spaceports or places that I can sell my resources. And in the large-scale procedural generation, my mining activity is not being recorded. So I'll fly over the same areas that I have flown over, and those resources that I have mined still appear on the macro scale image.
Yes. Yeah.
Then when you land, sometimes it's still there. The resource still appears there, and you have to get fairly close for it to all of a sudden disappear. I'm not sure if within the math of that generation that they can change that, but it's a little frustrating for me to be able to land, go, and I'm like, oh crap, I did this already. So that's a concern of mine. I don't know if they can fix it. But one of the cool things that came out of that is that on a lush planet, I mined an area, and there was a crater created where I had mined. I came back to that area thinking, oh, the resource is here, and I realized, oh, I had mined this already. But the plant life had grown back into the crater. The crater was still there,
Right.
but it was filled up with plant life.
Right.
And I thought that was freaking cool.
Yep.
It's like there really is planetary growth
Right.
taking place.
And while I was trying to get my extreme survival trophy back when it was really, really difficult to get, I had to stay on one planet for a total of like 14 hours real life in order to get this trophy. It's changed now. It's fixed to where it's, all of your extreme experiences put together now. But I wasn't allowed to leave or else it would reset. So I'm just sitting on this planet, just like screwing around with sentinels and stuff. And I decided to build this like huge underground cave that I built with grenades. And I like would kill sentinels and then like melee their bodies in there. And I was like building a grave for them, right?
Wow.
So after a while, though, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of bored. I'm going to go do something else. So I'm flying over to a different part of the planet. Anyway, I was looking at waypoints, and I accidentally came to the same place I was before, and I noticed that hole was still there. I'm like, oh, I'll see if everything's still good over here. And I walk in, and there's like plants all like grown inside of it, and
Really?
even some like plants that attacked me while going inside of it. And it was really cool. And I've had the exact same experience underwater as well. If you destroy terrain and build caves underwater, plant life will grow underwater too, and it looks, and you know, like stuff underwater looks even cooler,
Oh,
and so that's pretty neat that happens. I've even seen mineral deposits show up, like iron, like rocks and stuff show up around that terrain that you destroyed. So
Oh, very cool.
it is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was very neat. So some disadvantage with the macro scale procedural generation, but discovering that plant growth was really neat. Me personally, I would like to see different difficulty levels.
Ah,
You go in and you access whatever alien species terminal there's there, and you've got to solve the 4-number sequence. It's
Right.
just like, okay, here we go again. Okay. You know, and I understand they have to have that, but I would like something more advanced.
like
that it would-
math wise, or like the whole game wise.
Well, at least math, to make those problem-solving skills harder for the people that really want it to be a true experience like that. I mean, they're pretty simple.
Oh, come on, those took me like 30 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I've memorized
that's why you
them
didn't
all by now.
graduate from college, Ryan. So no, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Got
So no, I was like to see different difficulty levels for things like that. Something in the menu that they could change to make that. The base building idea, I think, would be a fantastic addition to it, so I hope they have it. I would also like to see with that base building the possibility that once you have a structure established, that instead of you are always buying or selling resources at that alien species terminals, they come to you and want to buy your structure.
Or even maybe you could have your own galactic terminal there.
You could
and stuff
have your
like
own
that.
terminal and set up your own trading
And you
commodities.
can even set up your own wants of things that you want, and you'd pay extra for. Then maybe
Yeah.
traders would come to your
Sure.
facility to get them,
Yep,
or
and,
sell them.
and the ability for you to, if you're going to have freighters in space, which I think is a fantastic idea too, because I'd probably jump on that in a second. Especially if you're allowed to hyperdrive to other galaxies and do things like that. I think it's fantastic. But if you're able to set up at your base building almost a warehouse where you could stockpile resources on your own, so instead of just trading back and forth, what you can carry, if you can actually stockpile things there and change commodity markets, something like that would be a very, very unique thing. Say you're on a emerald planet and you just stockpile emerald up the you know what. And so you can change the galactic trading parameters for emerald.
Screw it all up.
Screw it all
Make
up,
some money
but
out of
in
it.
your favor.
Yeah.
So, you know, just things like that. Maybe take the game to the next level of, I'm going to call sophistication, maybe.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So, base building is confirmed to be in a patch soon. Probably their first or maybe next content patch after that, along with buying your own freighter. All right. So, what do you think about freighter buying?
I would do it in a minute. That's just that's something that I never seem to have enough resources for what I want to do. I'm always scrambling for resource, and if I can find and stockpile resources, I would do it.
Just wait. You buy a freighter. It's only like 30 slots.
And $36 million for that.
It's like a size.
Units for
it's
that.
like the size of the moon over there, and it only has 30 slots.
Yep. But what else can you do with that? Do you have the capability with that freighter to defend yourself? And how that would work? So I'm anxious to see what they're going to do with that, because
Right. Also being able to stockpile multiple ships.
a
cool.
freighter caravan, freighter fleet.
Multiple carriers or freighters.
Ooh.
Could be a thing. Lots of things could come from it. I'm actually am really curious, because normally I feel like I have a knack for trying to figure out how they'd implement features, but I don't know how they're going to implement that one.
Be interesting. And the base building, I think, is going to be very interesting, how they come with that. If they're going to just be very basic, or if
'Cause-
they're going to allow people to freeform.
Because a freighter is like, would be really cool. It's like it's like a moving home. It could be like you could go inside your tiny ship to go land on a planet and then come back up and bring resources up and stockpile them into your freighter.
If you're allowed to do it. Because I tried
You'd
to
imagine it would have its own inventory.
Well,
right?
I tried to land on a freighter.
Right,
Because,
and
you know,
I'm-
they've got the ports.
I've
on
tried
there,
that as well,
and it
yeah.
doesn't work. It
Right.
just bounces off.
I'm assuming that would kind of come with it.
Teleporting? Beam me up, Scotty?
You beam down to planets instead. That'd be
Seriously,
kinda cool.
do you
Yeah.
teleport down?
That's a good question.
So I don't know what they're going to do. Let's see, what other note did I have here? The other thing, again, it's just the nerdy scientist in me, but I would like to see what I would call more compounding. More varied resources. I mean, right now, if we truly had a periodic table of elements, it would be very small.
Did you talk to what's her name, Nada and Polo, about that yet?
I haven't gotten there yet. I've been
You've
asked.
talked to them before.
I've been asked to talk to them, but I have not.
I thought you came across an anomaly already.
Yes, but they weren't there. Oh, is that them?
Yeah, it is them. The two of them in the room. Yeah.
That's them?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm stupid.
Because you will learn some interesting bits of lore from talking to them about why the universe works a certain way that it does. So,
Which
with
I
the
didn't
periodic table
realize,
later.
so I skipped
Yeah.
a lot of the
Read-
dialogue, which is
Read
perfect.
all the dialogue. Jared,
I didn't look. All right, we're not
Jared.
gonna get into it. We're not gonna get into it. It's
read
because-
the damn
It's
dialogue.
because of the Atlas path crap that I'm going through. Because I'm not following the Atlas.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
You know that whole whatever.
So can you ask them for more information, or do they?
It's more like as you talk to them about things, they will say certain things, and they speak your language, so you don't
Right.
have to like
So the
learn
more
their language.
anomalies you come across, the more you're going to learn.
Yes, you'll learn little bits of lore from them that happen to talk about what you're talking about with the lack of more resources. Let's just say that there is a reason for that
Okay.
within the lore.
All right.
So, and I think it goes well with the way Sean Murray was explaining that everything. Well, you may not learn everything about the way the world works in No Man's Sky. You will. Everything is explained and does do something for a reason. And you will, if you dig really deep, you'll find it. And actually, you don't have to dig that deep for the answer you're looking for. If you just keep going to anomalies and read all the dialogue, you'll find out some things.
I'm slow. I'm a nerdy explorer.
Also,
I'm
and
slow.
I'm sure you read the monoliths and stuff too.
Oh, I love the monoliths.
Yep.
I actually read the dialogue that's there.
Right.
I've learned a lot
There's
of the
got to be a
language.
good like over 100 pages of dialogue just written for
And-
monoliths.
It's amazing.
Right.
I mean, and every one is insightful in a different way.
And you learn a little
into
bit about different
you
species.
and the species
Right.
that you're dealing with. It's very telling about where that species is going.
Right.
So,
So yeah, keep your ears open because I think
Okay.
some questions that you might have
All right.
would be answered.
I'm just,
Especially when you really start
I'm
going on
just
the
a
Atlas
newbie.
path as well, you might learn some things as well. So
well, I just restored the Atlas path, so that'll be my next.
unlike Jared, who cannot seem to do the Atlas path or doesn't want to. I'm sorry,
I don't want to.
he doesn't. Well, he doesn't want to do the Atlas path.
Nope.
Oh,
I want to
Oh,
do
and,
what nobody else is doing.
and I want to hear from any listener out there. Have you experienced the glitch on PS4 where you can launch your ship into a cave?
And then just keep hitting the top of the cave until you
Yeah,
explode.
it's happened to me twice. If
Wow.
it lands you near a cave entrance, and it happens to point you in that direction when you launch, it launches you into that cave, and all it wants to do is take you through the roof of the cave,
Right.
and it's slowly destroying your ship, and you've got to get back out of that cave.
That's hilarious.
It's very interesting. It freaked the you know what out of me, but it's happened twice.
You know, the very first thing I did with the low fly mod on PC was I'm gonna do the sweetest trick ever and like fly through this cave and then fly out. And like the first thing I did was fly into a cave and like get my wings stuck on like a rock and just explode like after a couple seconds of hitting things over and over again. So
You must be so proud, Joelle.
Oh, words can't describe it.
Yes.
I thought I was like the coolest person ever for like a second.
You deserve to.
And then
feel
I
that
did some
for
cool
a
tricks when I was showing you the low
Yes,
fly
you
mod. I was
did.
going between
and you
canyons
did
and stuff. And
you did the Star Wars canyon flying there.
oh yeah, by the way, I found like crazy awesome canyon just a couple seconds ago while playing on the PC version, showing Science Dad this low fly mod. I was like flying
really
between
cool.
this canyon. It was so cool. Anyway, canyons don't exist, but
And mountains don't exist.
oh yeah, mountains don't
And
exist.
no
either.
water.
Not that I just found like giant
Yeah.
mountains.
And there's no water at all anywhere. And there's no strange creatures.
there's no lava.
Well, I haven't found lava yet, but there's no strange creatures. There's
Okay, so now since we've kind of gotten a little bit of everyone's opinion on the game and everything, and
Now my
everybody's-
notepad is full of notes.
Oh, okay. So
I don't know
Do
if you want to talk about that, but it's gonna be so random, like random topics. 'cause
let's
we went through a lot.
just a couple things for the discussion page, and we'll go back to you in just a second here.
All right.
And you can, and some of this is for you too. So we'll actually start with you since Science Dad's been talking so much.
sorry.
John Friswell from the discussion page says, "Does JustJarrod have a theory about how to activate the portals? Does he think they are active?"
That's a great question, and we could talk about that for a long time. Do I think they're active? Yes, I think they're active. Now, there's been like data miners who have been mining, into the, the code or whatever. There is a animation for the portal in the game, supposedly, but there's nothing else. It's just an animation. So we don't know if they're actually active. I hope they are. I don't have a complete theory. I do think that the monoliths and the ruins point to the portals. So in that case, I believe that they have some kind of something to do with the monoliths and the ruins will activate portals is kind of where I'm at. Because if you follow the flags, like every ruin has like a flagpole, and if you follow the direction that the flag is blowing, because there's wind in the game, there's weather in the game, and the grass blows in the direction of the weather, but the flags never change direction when they're blowing on the ruins. So if you follow the direction that the flag is blowing, it'll lead you to another ruin, or it'll lead you to a portal eventually. And we tested this out when I heard about it. My friend on PlayStation Network had never found a portal, ever. And I told him about this theory, and he tried it 10 minutes later, found a portal right off the bat from doing it. I tried it, and it kept leading me to more ruins, more ruins, more ruins. So it hasn't, perfectly worked for me, but that's how I do believe you get to portals, unless you just randomly stumble upon them, which I've only ever done once. The first portal I ever found, I just scoured planets for forever, just flying over them looking for them. A theory on opening them, it has to have something to do with the monoliths around portals. I do believe that is it. And I'm trying to learn all the languages right now. There's 1,019 words in the game if you combine all three races without the
Not
Atlas.
including Atlas,
Not
yeah.
including Atlas. 1,019. I'm 900 in. So
Oh wow!
Holy smokes.
somebody in my community has them all. That's how I know there's 1,019. He just got them yesterday, I do believe. I'm 900 in. And I do have to say something about the monoliths. The story, like the lore, if you finish a lore through the monoliths, if you finish like the Viking, it'll just repeat. So it's not going to stop. Like you can learn the lore, and when you get to the end, it'll repeat and go back over again. Because I've finished the Gek lore like 3 times. The Gek lore is a lot shorter than the Viking. Viking goes on forever. Gek is just, I don't like the Gek race at all, so we're not going to talk about that. But their lore repeats. And
Racist.
Korvax, I've only found 2 star systems of Korvax ever. So I haven't really got a lot of their
What?
words yet. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I have all the words for Viking and Gek. I don't have barely any for Korvax. So what I did was I just spent I got a bunch of bypass chips created, went to the signal scanners, and just put in 120 monoliths. I clicked monolith each time and just went to each and every one. I spent a day just doing that because I wanted to learn the language, because I think that has something to do with the portals. Once again, it's just a theory. And really quick, another theory I have is, okay, if you have the V2 passes for the space stations, there's a door you can get in. And that door has in the room, it has a hologram, and the hologram is of a star system. And the star system never changes. It's always the same in each space station if you find the room of the hologram. And it's a red star system, and it shows 3 planets orbiting around it, and one of the planets has 2 moons, and one planet has 1 moon. But the funny thing is all the planets orbiting it are blue, and all the moons are blue except for one. One planet is green. So I'm thinking it has something to do, green is the one that you need to go to. So what I did was search through the galactic map for a red star system with 3 planets and 3 moons and set a waypoint, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm still making my way there. It is very far away. So.
Oh my.
So you're gonna land on that one. How many moons does the green one have?
I think it's the one with 1 moon. Yeah.
So you'll know when you get there if there's a planet with only 1 moon that's the one you're gonna go to.
That's the one. Yep. So.
That's interesting. The 3-2-1 ratio there too that you're talking about. 3 planets, 2 moons, and 1 moon.
Yep. So. We're gonna see what happens. That's where I'm heading, and it's taking me forever to get there because I don't like skipping over things. So every star system I jump to, I would like to look around. So it is taking me quite a bit to get there.
You have to like really like stop yourself.
Yep.
In the same way.
So that's my theory, my long-winded theory. All right.
I think it sounds pretty cool.
It had something to do with all that, somehow.
And since Jared refuses to do the Atlas Path, he is doing his own thing, and he's making his own objectives, which I think is an awesome way to play the game as well.
Yeah.
And you seem to be really enjoying it that way as well. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, awesome. So now, since he talked for a little bit, we'll do one with Science Dad here, and then we'll talk about some things he jotted down in notes as well. Cody Anderson says, "What surprised you most in the game, Dr. Mr. Science Dad, PhD?"
Wow. What was the, well, I already talked about the sound. But the gaming part itself, that part is not an easy one to answer. I find myself surprised all the time. Whether it's a new life form, what the heck is that, and how did they create that? To coming to a new planet that I just ran into my first jungle planet, which was something completely unique because so many things are hiding in the grass you can't even see them until you're actually right on them. I think in general what has surprised me the most is my misconception of the original trailers and samples that Sean had shown and the homogeneity of those that, okay, I'm going to a ice planet, okay, well, it's ice. Okay, there's lots of ice. And there's lots of animals. Well, there's a few animals that shouldn't be living there anyhow because it's too cold. But they're all white. Okay, well, that's nice. Well, then we go to this planet. Okay, those animals look okay. And maybe I was predisposed to that notion that maybe this wasn't the game that, at least in that respect, that I was going to look for. But it's been a pleasant surprise that just to see the tremendous diversity of all life and lack of life even throughout everything that I've explored so far. So probably that is more than anything else.
Cool. Yeah, that's usually the thing where I'm playing the game and I'm like, Joelle, look at this animal, it's so cool. Look at how it's, oh my god, it sounds so funny. And we just.
And how does Joelle respond?
And she's like, okay, Ryan, it's great.
It's normal, wow, that's cool, dear. Don't even look at the screen as saying it.
Nice.
Your daughter's starving right now.
Don't have a coronary, Ryan.
Yeah, it's like your daughter's crawling on the table again. Could you please get her off?
She'll be fine.
Third time asking.
All right, awesome. Okay, Jared, you had some things jotted down for notes.
Yeah. So I want to talk. This is like going off of the long list of things that Science Dad just talked about. So there's a couple stuff. So music in the game, that is something I wanted to talk about. Or like when you were asking me about my highs, I guess, of the game, what I thought of it. Music is definitely up there. I don't know why I didn't think of this. The music, like I've loved Supermoon, like the 65 Days song Supermoon, since they released it, I don't know, like a year ago or something like that. And I also like Debutante, which was the trailer music that 65 Days used a lot or Sean Marie used in a lot of the trailers and things like that. which isn't in the game, but it's so cool to like hear, like after I've listened to the soundtrack and I have the vinyl, which still isn't at my house, so I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, I have the digital download of the music, and I've listened to all the tracks so many times. Like Red Parallax is another really awesome one, and to hear like the mixture, like you can hear like portions of the songs because it is all procedural. And when I'm like flying through space and I hear just that little couple notes of Supermoon, oh my god, it just gives me chills, man. Like I'm flying through space, and I hear just like I can like hum to it for a bit, and then it goes away into something else, and I don't know what it's gonna form into as far as music, because it's like all the songs are mixed together in like just a brilliant way.
And it's very, very organic. I've noticed.
Yeah. And then I was recording a video. I was doing Underwater Wednesday series on my channel, which I'm not doing anymore, but when I really started going underwater and really looking for huge creatures to freak me out, I was so far underwater, like insanely far underwater. I didn't even know you could get that far underwater. And the music changes for underwater, and it sounds so like it when you're alone and underwater freaks me out in video games, first of all. So we get that out of the way. When I was first doing it, it was freaking me out, right? Just the creepiness, because I didn't know what was around. And, like, at that point, the music is creeping me out because it's, like, really eerie in a way. But then once I got used to, like, the area I was in and the creatures that were around, the music seemed to be not as bad. Like, it seemed, like, really pleasant. So it's cool how the music can only change, like, just slightly, and then it, like, changed the mood entirely. That's what's really awesome. Underwater music is super cool, like, because it does change a lot. And it makes the underwater seem like a whole nother world, which it does. It does look like totally different from above, like on the ground level, which is another thing I was going to talk about that I have written down. Underwater is amazing. Like there are so many underwater caves in like anywhere. Like I just go exploring. Like I know I'm not going to find crazy things. Like there was gameplay a long time ago where Sean was playing and showing people the game, and he was underwater and he saw like some giant glowing cube, and he went to it and was interacting with it, and that was an item that you could find. Now the game's not like that. You don't get blueprints that way.
But really, I have found items that only spawn underwater that are a lot like those spheres that you can find that are worth a lot of money. They look a little different, but they're aquaspheres. Yep.
Oh,
maybe that's what it's changed to.
And maybe I've only ever found aquaspheres, and I was only on one planet in my starting system. And that's something actually that's weirdly leading to that. Starting systems. I don't know if any of you guys had like really amazing starting systems or not. Like, I mean, amazing to the sense where you haven't found anything like them before. So my starting system had 5 planets in it. All of them were radiated planets.
Oh.
All of them were radiated. I've never found a system like that where every single one is the same, like, element. Every single one was radiated. And like I said, I was telling you, Ryan, yesterday, the most interesting creature I've ever found was on my first planet, and I've never seen another one like that. And I never walked up to it because it freaked me out. And I was like, I don't even want to know what that is, so I just ran from it. And I've never seen anything like that.
I'll just see another thing similar to it sometime. Right?
I would see something like that because it was walking on its hind legs, and it was like more humanoid looking, and it looked like a gorilla almost. And I was like, oh, I'll probably see it again, or something as like that. But I have yet to ever see another creature like that, which kind of bums me out because I wish I didn't run from it. Anyways, what else do I have? The freighters.
Hey, before you go on real quick, I wanted to mention, and this is just for people that are into the music part of the game, which I think you should be because it's awesome. What I've noticed, which just I kind of use the game as a music listening device sometimes, is that there seems to be the same kind of like battle music on one planet. Like you'll get the same battle music on the same planet if you keep starting battles with like sentinels and stuff. You know, the drums start up depending on the song, and it's random still, like it's procedurally generated. And what I've noticed is like if you really like it, stay on that planet and keep like starting fights. That's what I do, just because if I really like one of the songs that plays, and it seems to be the same on the same planet, so I'll just hang out on the planet forever because I want to hear that particular song that plays.
The drums are really cool. When, in the battles,
just
man.
Like however they got everything to record the way they did in a way that they could send it through the procedural generation is incredible because the actual fidelity I'm saying that right, fidelity of the music and the timbre and everything Everything sounds so good, like
Yeah.
so good.
And if anybody listening like wants to know more, if you just look up on YouTube, just search Paul Weir. It's Paulweir. He's the sound guy for Hello Games, and there's a interview type thing that he did. I don't know exactly what convention. It was some sound convention, and he explains how it all works, and it's really, really cool. He's the mastermind behind the whole music procedural thing. So
It's pretty
it's
awesome.
really interesting if you want to look it up. So the only other thing I have on here is the freighter. The things with the freighters, okay? Freighter purchasing. In the patch, or in that update that he gave us, the ability to purchase freighters is what it says. I'm scared of that, okay? I only have like 25 million. That's as far as I ever get with money, and then I end up just like spending it on some ship just because it looks cool. 150 million for a 48 slot ship, and you're looking to buy a freighter. How much is that going to cost? What's it going to be, like 6 billion? What are we going to need to buy a giant freighter if a
We're gonna
48
have to
slot
really,
ship
really grind.
costs 150 million? I've seen 100. Well, the highest I've ever seen is 72 million. The highest ever seen is 158 million, at least on Reddit, for a 48 slot ship. I haven't even found a 48 slot ship. I saw a 38 one for 72 million.
I still only have like a 30 slot ship because I'm
mine's
too lazy
29.
to grind for units.
Yeah, mine's 29, and I bought it because it looks like a school bus. So, I
Short
don't know.
bus or short bus or regular bus?
Good question.
Just want to know. That's all.
What do the aliens do when you land? Are they just like okay, or are they like, yeah, it's a cool ship?
I think you know what? If anybody were to see my ship, they would just look at me like I'm a nut job, to be honest. Because I don't know why. Like when I seen it, I think it was just because I had never seen it before. That's why I bought it, and I still haven't seen anything like it. But it's like have you seen those ships that look like they have like air conditioning units on the side of
Yeah.
them,
Yeah,
and
I
they're
think
just
I know
super
what you're
long, and they
Yep.
like cut through the space station wall? I've seen that.
Oh,
Yeah, you can get them to where they're so long, like it just looks like there's boxes for wings, and one of the wing will cut through the space station wall. It's so
oh
large.
my gosh. Oh my.
I see that
Wow.
flying, and I was like, "What is this?"
To be fair, I've never actually seen those ships while I was playing. I've only seen pictures of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the one I've got.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
gotta send me screenshots of it.
I can
Oh,
do
man.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a thing, which is great. I wouldn't buy a ship like with those giant wings. Like I've only ever seen one where the wing actually cuts. It's so large it cuts through the side of the space station. Mine isn't that large. It's. I'm trying to describe it. It's like got those spheres. There's like 4 of the spheres on like 2 on each side. Yeah, and it's yellow,
Don't think I've ever seen that.
bright yellow, just like a school bus. Anyway,
Do you have to,
that was
put
my
your
list.
stop sign out when you come to a halt? And
Yeah. I wish that would be great.
All right, so Mr. Ryan Sweet asks, and I guess this can go to both you guys. We might do one at a time here. And we've kind of talked about this a little bit, so however else you guys want to add to it. He says, what do you think will be the most likely thing to first get added to the game? Now, we kind of already know this, but he says, i.e. new gameplay features, potential ownership of Space Raiders, which, I mean, is already confirmed. So we'll start with that. Are there any other features you guys think they'll add to the game soon?
Wow.
That kind of ring a bell? Like, you're like, they should really add that feature.
I want to be able to. Okay, this is like a joke feature. All right, so here we go. This is something I brought up to people. So knowledge stones. Okay, they just sit there. You walk up to them. You activate them. You can learn a word. I want them to make it more difficult. I want the knowledge stones to sit there, but when you approach them, they like jump up like they have legs, and then they just take off. So you have to chase them down to learn things. That's something I was talking to my friends about, just because that would
That's
just
like
make it so
the
exciting.
perfect metaphor for
that's
like
something-
high school when you're trying to learn things.
That's something right out of Monty Python right there. Oh my gosh.
You get to like ruins or something, and they're all just like running in circles, all 3 of them. Like, but for
that's pretty
seriously, I don't even know. What was the question?
What features do you think, like right away in your head, pop up like this is something they should add?
I know it's hard because we know base building, we know freighters, and like if you had asked me this before the game came out, I would have had a lot of ideas. But now it's weird because the game, like before the game released, we didn't really know how it would play. Like we knew some information. Like I got Hello Games isn't like the group to just tell you everything about the game, obviously. I don't really know. Like additions wise, like gameplay wise, I don't really know. I would love them to just add in the possibility to find a waterfall. Like, why?
Maybe
Why?
more dynamic water
Yeah,
instead
water
of just having a
system.
sea level.
Exactly. That would be awesome because one of the big things for me is I wanted to find waterfalls in the game if there were waterfalls. Now we did see there was a part in a trailer a long time ago. No, not crazy long. But where there's floating islands and there was water rolling off of them.
Huh.
Oh,
It was really quick. It was really quick. It was my favorite ship that I've ever seen in the trailers was in the same footage, and it was like a.
That was one of the new-ish, like one of the 4 pillars trailer.
No. It was
No?
a long time ago.
Okay.
Floating islands. There's like a bright blue ship to like the right, and you remember those ships that we always saw in the trailers, the ones with like the floating ring like around it. I don't know if you've seen those in the game yet, but they are actually a thing. Where it has like the ring around the ship, like the.
No, I haven't seen those in the game yet, but I
Those
think I know
are
what
in the
you're talking
game.
about.
They are in the game.
I know they are. I'm unlucky.
Yeah, but they were in the trailers a lot, and those were like rising, going up in the air, and they were on floating islands, and there was just a bit of a stream falling off the island.
Ooh.
And it was like really quick, unless I'm just thinking that it was there.
Yeah,
Which
or
could be a
maybe
total
they
possibility.
didn't quite
Finish
finish
it.
the
Yeah.
technical aspect of trying to make the water move that way with the voxel-based generation that they were using. But that would
But-
be a really cool feature. I agree. I really like water physics and stuff. So. Okay.
Yeah,
does it
that's-
actually work if you like blow a hole in the wall? Does the water flow into it like that? Like if you're
No,
on like the
it
surface?
seems that it's just like a sea level. So you could like, let's say you're on an island, right? Or like maybe a larger sized island, and you just keep shooting down with your grenade. Eventually, you'll just hit like flat water. It seems like all of a sudden there'll be water inside your.
Oh yeah, yeah.
because
I've
there's a
seen
sea
that.
level basically is how it works.
Okay.
And that's all it really is. It's like for if there's going to be water on a planet, there will be a sea level. And I can kind of further confirm this by there's a small bug. I don't know if it's still in the game or not, but on a planet that had no water, I like dug all the way down to bedrock, and I like made the ground flat down there by shooting a lot of grenades and making a big cave area. And as I was walking on the ground, I could hear the sound effect of splashing water. So it seemed like the sea level was 0, but it still kind of registered it as there.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it's all based on that sea level the thing that they have. So as of right now, it seems to be that simple. So it would be cool to see some more water physics.
yeah,
and stuff
because
like
we
that.
haven't seen rivers or lakes.
Rivers.
Rivers.
perhaps. Oh, I've seen rivers and
Yeah.
lakes.
I haven't seen rivers or lakes. Yeah,
mean,
no, I've
it's-
seen lakes. I haven't seen
They're
rivers.
at the same level as the sea would be, but they're
Right.
still like segregated, and you can still. And I've absolutely seen rivers where it's like it's purposely. Obviously, the generation was trying to make a river, and it looks really awesome.
Really, I haven't seen
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
yet.
and those are more rare, but I've absolutely seen lakes and I've absolutely seen rivers.
Well, the lakes, yeah, but they're at the sea level. I'm
Everything,
talking-
all the water is going to be at the sea level.
Right, so,
but
but-
the way the generation works, it's obvious that the generation was making a river, and it looks like a river. You wouldn't think didn't look like a river when you see
Yeah,
it.
okay, have not seen that yet.
I haven't
The same
seen a
thing
river
with lakes. I've
either.
also found like weird craters, and that they happen to be around the sea level, so it's like a perfectly circle of a lake.
That
And
I
those
have,
are pretty cool.
I have seen craters, yes.
Right.
Yep, and I've wondered about those because some of them have bases in them, some of
Oh.
them do not.
Well, also it seemed like, and I think they may have changed this a little bit since like it first launched, because this seemed to be a more apparent issue at first, where like you find a building and then like there's a giant oval
Yep.
around
Yeah.
the building, and I haven't
Yep.
seen this as much lately. But you could really noticeably, like the procedural generation made sure there wouldn't be a problem there, you know?
Yeah.
Because initially, and it seems to be fixed, one of my initial planets was a very hilly terrain.
Right.
And not just big rolling hills. These were jagged hills. And every building that was generated on that was either half in the rock or it was dangling, like 3/4 of the building was dangling off the edge of a cliff.
Yep.
And you had to use your jetpack to get up to the entrance ramp to that building.
It was just some really smart builders that build those buildings.
Yeah, defy gravity. That's a very good thing to do. So
I've never had that issue. I do have an issue where it seems like points of interest just spawn in water, and that doesn't seem like it's gone away yet. And like buildings and stuff just spawn in water. Now it seems like this was going to be a purposeful feature, because I've seen it where like when they spawn in water and they have separate rooms, the rooms are ovals instead of what they normally look like when they're above land. Like it looks like it's purposely like built. It looks different underwater. Like they're built differently, to look like they should be underwater.
Oh, I have not seen that.
But on the other hand, it's like it looks like it was almost an unfinished idea, because there's still water like in the building and stuff.
Oh, so if you go in, there's still water inside.
Exactly, and so it's kind of weird. And it seems like pretty much every single type of point of interest could just spawn underwater, and it just will, and it won't care. Like it just does. Like if you're on a really watery planet, and so I just avoid them. I just wait till I find an island with something on it. But it seems like they just all generate underwater anyway.
This is probably one of the things that the whole procedural generation concept has to deal with.
Right.
Because you're not actually creating your own maps where you control what's going there. There's going to have to be some nuances and revisions to that formula to where they can play around and do these things differently.
Absolutely. It seems like they do need to tweak it a little bit.
And remember, this is a baby science. I mean, we're in the infant stage, really, of this whole procedural generation concept. I mean, it started with Mandelbrot's series and this whole concept of converting math into a visual concept of math. And if you ever go look up Dr. Mandelbrot and what he did with this, it's an amazing thing what he did with a simple equation. But that started this whole concept of procedural generation, and this is still the infant stage. I mean, this is just the beginning. You got to remember that things are going to get much more detailed as this whole concept grows.
It's exciting too,
It
because
is.
now it's more on the map, and I think more developers are going to give it a try, which I think is good, because I think people, and I think the general consensus when you talk to just an average Joe gamer might say that procedural generation is lazy because you don't have to build maps and stuff like that. But I think, first of all, I think the way No Man's Sky did it is awesome, and I think if other games find unique ways to use procedural generation, it can be used in a really, really cool way.
And not just gaming. The whole,
and other
whole
fields as well.
entertainment industry. I mean, there's a whole unique concept of
Just
this.
wait until they can procedurally generate TV shows.
Ryan,
Maybe they can
Jerry.
procedurally generate dinner for you then, too.
procedural generated loot-based games, right?
Well, that's kind of already a thing, right? It's just not that detailed
really.
yet.
No, it needs to be crazy detailed. What if we had Diablo
You're right.
4 with procedural?
And
loot?
this is okay. Oh my God, we're gonna talk about this now.
Oh, boy.
So this is me and Jared both have an obsession with like loot-based games, right? And Diablo 3 kind of okay. Now, if you aren't counting legendaries, you get any sort of gear, it like procedurally generates the name and some stats on it. But it's pretty limited. It's not very impressive. And it'd be cool if you could see more unique like types of gear and the way they look and all kinds of stuff. So they could really go crazy with it, and it would be awesome. And then everybody you find, they'd be like, check out this cool sword. Nobody else has this sword. It looks cool for me.
Borderlands is a bit like that in terms of their guns.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's limited. It's just like Diablo is.
It's not as limited as Diablo, though.
I don't think
Borderlands
it's as
probably
limited, no, because
Right.
Borderlands does have crazy variations when it comes to their guns.
Yeah.
But they could do more.
They could do more. I mean, you see what they've done with life forms
Right.
on this game.
Right.
Oh,
Imagine what you could do with a whole arsenal.
With
I mean,
a really
what
good,
they're doing with
a
ships.
really good art team
I mean,
on like
yeah.
weapons and different different ways
Well,
weapons
and
could look.
just
You could do so many cool
Jared's school bus. I mean, I've never seen a school bus in space yet. So, I mean, this is, what could they do?
All right. To
Wow,
touch on the underwater buildings really quick,
things.
I think buildings are supposed to be underwater, like how they kind of, well, not supposed to be, but when they are, in a way. I found a building underwater, like the first ones I found were those derelict. How do you even pronounce that? Derelict? Whatever they are. The buildings that are kind of...
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
They're like overgrown.
Yep.
I've seen those underwater, and then I've seen just like the you know what I want to see? I want to see one of those floating electronic terminals underwater and see how that works out. Yeah. But I did find a building underwater last week that had no doors to get in, so that was weird.
Oh.
I don't know why.
So there seems to be some like game design part that like,
Yeah.
maybe didn't get finished with that
I
kind
don't
of
know
feature.
because there was gameplay a while ago. It was like off. It was like a gameplay that not a lot of people saw, of Sean playing, and he found an underwater building, and he mentioned it, and he was like, "Yeah, there's an underwater building over there," and then he turns away from it like it's supposed to be there, not like,
So,
"Oh
yeah,
crap,
okay.
that's a glitch." Just ignore that. He
Right.
actually pointed it out, but back then the building underwater looked crazy different. Like it looked really cool, like it was supposed to be there, and like there was things to do in the underwater building. Whereas now it just seems like they're just accidentally put there.
Right. So that'd be a cool thing to see in a future content update as well.
Yeah.
I thought when I saw that, I made a video. I'm like, maybe there's an underwater race. Who knows? Whoa. But no, there's not. There's
The
not
days
an
of
underwater
speculation.
race. Right? Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so John Friswell posted a really beautiful picture. He says, "Can anyone please explain this plant?"
This plant, yeah.
Are you there right now, Jared?
I
as
was
well?
on it. If I go to it, my mic will insanely pick up the clicks, so you don't
Oh,
want that.
okay. Well, basically, it's a picture of a procedurally generated plant in No Man's Sky that may look very suggestive.
I'm gonna
I
get
think
to it
he
on my
wanted
phone.
Science Dad to explain that.
Wow. How can we? Well, I see someone responded to this. It looks like it says lots of intergalactic testosterone, and that's probably a good way to put it. Because if the scale here is correct, those are big. Those are.
I just seeing it now. Okay.
Yeah, that's impressive.
All right, let's go on to the next thing.
Oh, I got a quick call out, Ryan Sweet. I was reading his post here.
Oh wait, we didn't finish it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. He's an immunologist, and that's my background too. So yeah, Ryan, immunoconjugates, protein isolation, antibody conjugates, and isolation. That is my specialty. In fact, I'm one of the authors of a book on a whole concept of protein purification. So, calling you out, man. I love it. Keep up the good science.
I literally don't know anything you said.
That's okay. Ryan Sweet will get it.
He talked
All right.
about watching Interstellar.
Oh yes.
That is an amazing movie.
Okay, so Jared agrees. Amazing movie.
Oh my
I think it's an
gosh.
amazing movie. Now I'm not scientific. Like
Neither
I
am I.
like science, but I'm bad at it. And Interstellar has a fine mix of average Joe science, and then like if you're really smart, there's some really really deep stuff in there if you're looking for that,
I cried. Sorry.
and you'll cry.
I don't like crying,
So
man.
sad, man.
but it's a really fantastic movie. It really and like it's probably the most visually pleasing movies I've seen in a really long time. The scenes that they pull off are incredible. So
I'll bring myself to watch it.
Did you-
I promise I will.
you better.
I promise. I promise.
Also, John Friswell posts, and this and Science Dad kind of went over this a little bit before. He says, "Do you think the game is difficult enough?" And this is in general, not about like the equations or anything.
No.
Do you think the game is difficult enough, or should they put in a proper survival/hardcore mode?
Who's this directed towards?
I think both of us or everybody here. So.
Okay. I'm just gonna go out. It's harder to buy a ship than to survive. Okay. That's basically where I'm at with it. I don't really mind it because I just like being able to walk around and see things. So I mean that's fine and dandy, but it's hard to buy a good ship, and it's easy to survive, and it's a survival game, kind of, I guess. I don't know
Okay,
if there should be like a different difficulty setting, but like Science Dad was saying, the equations in there are super simple. Like I have them memorized. 365 is an answer, 720 is an answer, 1440 is an answer. Like I don't even have to look at them. I just look at the answers and click one. Like it's so with that being said, if they added like a mode to change like to up difficulty, would I do it? Probably, yeah, because I think that'd make it more exciting, like more fun to be like in danger when you're on planets rather than your life support telling you life support is low even though it's
Right.
not low at all.
By the way, they fixed that in the new patch.
Oh, they did. Wow.
Yep,
Wow.
mhm.
Sweet.
They did?
Yeah, they changed it so it only
Oh,
says
yeah,
it like
so
when you're
50
when you hit
and
like
25.
25%.
Yeah.
I think they changed it so it's only 25 now.
Oh, okay.
It could be. I could be wrong. It could
I
be 50 as
think
well.
you're right.
Yeah.
They changed it. So, also now
Yeah, okay.
when we're talking the 4 pillars of gameplay that they advertised in trailers, and now I like to talk about this when I explain the game to people. I think that the best way to look at it is that one of the pillars, exploration, I'd call that the main pillar of the game. Like that's the most fun you'll have out of the game is probably through exploration, because I think that's what the game does best. And I think that there are like some flaws with like survival and fighting. I don't really have much of a flaw with personally, and trading is a little simplistic. So it's like I think the most fun you'll have in the game is just exploring, and the other pillars are kind of added features that are fun, but they're not as deep as the exploration. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. No, I would agree.
Yeah.
I think the possible addition here of owning freighters and maybe multiple freighters, possibly a fleet, and controlling more resources and driving the trading aspect things, that could take on a whole new concept depending on where they take it. But it could be a nice addition to bring some of these other of the 4 pillars up to the same level.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I don't actually have too many problems with the fighting. I know some people complain about the space combat, but
Oh my
I really
God.
like the space combat.
It's amazing.
What do you think, Jared?
It's amazing. Space combat's just so fun, man.
And I think it's because it's so simplistic and easy to use that I really, really enjoy it.
I don't see what with the complaints. What did they say? What they were expecting,
I
or
think,
what
I think
they...
it's coming from people that come from like Elite Dangerous or maybe some more advanced space simulations, where they expect to be able to push this really specific button that shoots this one thruster in this one spot, and you can do this really cool maneuver. But okay, from somebody who doesn't understand that stuff as well, which is me, and I'm not talking crap about Elite Dangerous because I completely understand the crowd that likes this. But when I play Elite Dangerous, and I'm in a fight, it tends to just turn into I'm spinning the camera really fast, and then, oh, he's just out of view. Now I got to spin all the way back around. Oh, he's just out of view. Now I got to spin all the way back around over and over again. And I'm sure I'm playing the game wrong, but I just don't get that, like how to fly a ship that well. And so with No Man's Sky, it's simple. Like I can just turn my ship and start shooting, and if I can, I can tilt my ship. I can fly through an asteroid if I want to evade stuff. Like I can do what I want, but it's still easy enough where I can just turn my ship and shoot at something, and I like that. I don't know. That's just me, though.
No, I love the space battles. I love the barrel roll. Like, that just sells it for me. The barrel roll is the best. I just barrel roll all the time. And it's just like, whoa, this is amazing. And then I'm like, I don't know where I am.
I'm going to throw up.
Yeah,
And then, it's great. It's perfect. Anyway, sorry.
I don't have a problem with any of the space battles at all. It'd be nice to maybe see a diversity of what is attacking you, because I've only seen pretty much same size ships over and over.
It's either a small ship or a freighter.
Pretty much.
Correct.
Nothing in between.
Oh, I've never even attacked by a freighter yet.
Have you not warped it? Oh, you haven't warped it too many things.
No, I have not.
You'll be surprised. There are some surprising features in
Okay,
this
so
game.
maybe I will be pleasantly
Like,
surprised
there
with
is
that.
bounty hunting, and pirates will attack you. I don't know if that's happened yet.
Oh yeah, I've had pirates.
Have you have you spawned, or sometimes when you jump to a new star system, and a fight will be going on, like with freighters, and there'll be sometimes, and people complain about those fights being too small, which I don't understand, because I've seen like 30 or some ships fighting each other, not including freighters, and you can jump in and you can choose which side you're going to go with, or
Oh wow.
and it's a lot of fun. Bring a lot of titanium with you, though.
Oh crap. Okay. I gotta change my resources.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you've noticed this. All right, so I've the bounty hunting in it. I just really realized, I don't know, a couple days ago when it said like there's a bounty on this guy, and it said minimal threat. No, I think it was a week after the game came out, and it said minimal threat, and I was like, all right, we'll take him on. It said 10,000 units. I'm like, that's not really a lot, but sure. And I went after him, and I had somewhat of titanium on me. I didn't have a lot. Let's say just like 1 or 2 stacks maybe. And I was attacking him, and he started, like, his thing started smoking, so I'm like, all right, we're almost done. And then he repaired himself. Because he stopped smoking, and I started shooting him again, and then he killed me. He killed one ship one ship killed me because I could not. I didn't think they could repair themselves, so I wasn't like ready. I wasn't prepared to use my titanium, so I was just hammering on him, and
You're
I
going
think
all
when
out,
you're-
not like. Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
and he just kept repairing. It had to be, unless it was a glitch where he just wasn't dying. But I haven't seen that ever. I don't think anybody's had that problem. So, I think when you're after a bounty, like you're onto a bounty and you're trying to kill the ship or whatever, they can repair at that point. I think that's how it works because that happened to me. That's what it looked like, unless he was just invincible, which I doubt
You know what,
because it was minimal threat.
Huh. Yeah, here's the thing, and I wanted to point this out. Talking about future game mechanics that they could add. More bounty hunting would be nice.
Yeah.
Like if it could be a full.
I've only seen it once,
that we could like
so
actually like push a
Yeah.
button to start fighting bounties or something. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Because I've literally actually never discovered it in my game, ever.
yeah, I've only had it once. So
And most people that have seen it have only seen it like once. It just pops up out of nowhere.
yep, randomly.
Maybe if you stalked the trade lines more, you might find something. I don't know, but
Have you guys had a request for
sure.
help?
yeah.
And I've gone there, nothing was there.
Oh, that must have been a bug then.
Yeah, because I went right to the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Because it went
Yeah,
right.
normally you'd see a bunch of freighters and like people shooting at each other and stuff.
Okay, this was early on, so maybe that was.
It was probably
glitch.
a bug. But that's
Okay,
when you
yeah,
see
there
that
was-
as a stress signal, you
Yeah.
should see a big battle there.
No, there was nothing there.
So next time you
Absolutely
see
nothing.
one,
Okay,
Yeah, I've
next
had
time I'll
that
go.
as well.
All right.
I've never had that bug.
Yeah,
But now since I know,
should be
good to know.
fixed.
Probably fixed by now, since I've literally 100%
Oh,
of the
yeah.
bugs on PS4 seem to be fixed for me, and then PC is just about there. My frame rate's completely steady now on PC, which is awesome. So
Yeah, and I only crashed, I
it
think,
didn't-
4 times on PS4 the entire time I've been playing.
right, and I haven't had a crash since 1.07
Oh, man.
at all.
Neither have I. No.
Jared,
The waypoint system, Ryan,
It's
it
fixed.
didn't delete my waypoint. Didn't
It
delete
didn't?
my waypoint, no. So
Good.
it's still there, and it's very far away now, confirmed. To
okay,
where
I
I'm
think
going.
they only delete like the Atlas Station waypoints and stuff
Could
like
be.
that.
So,
Cool.
I thought when I was talking to you that my waypoint to my red star system with 3 planets, 3 moons was far. Now it is confirmed. It is really far. So,
Just go through a black hole and see if you land there.
just hope. Yeah. Oh no, I'm not doing that. Put it like a million light years in the wrong direction.
Yeah, no black holes for me right now. No.
Don't do it.
You can ask for one.
It's a trap.
I saw that. I did not ask for it.
It's a
No.
trap.
Give it a try.
No.
Just break
You'll
your
never find
ship.
anything ever
Yeah,
again
I
that you
know
once
that
discovered.
just bugs the you know what out of me. So no, no.
All right. I think we're pretty much ready to wrap it up. Go ahead, Jared. You had
Okay.
something to say.
I was gonna say I think I must have found a black hole like one of the first people. I'm not like trying to because the first system I spawned in right next to me was a black hole. So I didn't.
In the system?
Yeah, no, I mean like not in the system. So like when I first opened the galactic map, I went over just one star, like the closest one that was to my system, and it was a black hole. There was a black hole there, and I was like, I was in a party chat with a lot of people. I was like, did anybody else have a black hole already? And they're like, what? What do you mean black hole? I was like, okay.
Yeah, once you get to... I'm not going to like spoil anything, but just... I can see black holes on the map right now
Yeah.
because I'm awesome.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. Well, I know how. Yeah.
Yeah. Try not to spoil things for Science Dad.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
like they're really spread apart. So and actually before I had that ability, I stumbled upon one on accident. And I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" Like, because now since I actually see where they are in the map, they are actually really, really spread apart and hard to find unless you can see them. So,
Nice.
but anyway,
Which I will never be able to do. Great.
yeah, sucks for you.
Whatever. You know. I'm gonna make it to the center legit. Okay.
Yeah, have fun with that. Like 600 hours later.
Yeah.
I'll be 80 years old before I even get remotely close.
Well.
It's like in the beginning before even when I had a Theta drive, I did a whole stream of just jumping like 30 times in a row, and I'm like, oh, I'm like 2,000 light years closer. Great.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that was a good talk. Does anybody else have anything they wanted to mention?
There was like a really big topic that was on my mind like earlier when Science Dad was talking, and then you asked me a question and it totally directed me away and I forgot what it was.
I had a similar thing.
Not
yeah.
on your notes, huh?
No, it's not. I have the dash, like I was making actual notes, like a bulleted list. I put a dash and then it's just blank because I forgot what it was.
Oh man, it could have been so good.
It
Ryan,
was
Ryan
for
can
decades.
forward the question to me if you come up with it.
I was so into it, like, oh, this is gonna be great. and then I was like, wait, what was I doing?
Well, I think we had a lot of really good discussion
Yes.
today, and I think
Sure.
people will like the episode because we actually talked about something for once.
Wow.
Not to talk crap about our own show. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm sad that Dylan didn't get to participate, but
I'm happy.
probably a shorter episode that way.
Seemed
Jared
to
just
stay,
hates
I
Dylan,
don't know
everything
if it
about
was
him.
shorter.
Yeah,
yeah, well, we
still had
did
a pretty
stay
long-
focused, though, on this.
we did
Yes.
stay focused, and I thought that was good. So
Yes.
anyway, I'm gonna do a quick
With no rants.
no rants, just rants
Wow,
about
that's a
things we're
first.
We
ranting
didn't talk
about.
about controversy. We didn't talk about girls. We didn't talk
Arizona
about.
girls.
We didn't.
yeah.
We didn't eat in the mic at all. So that's good. My sandwich is still behind me.
Shots fired at Dylan.
Wow. You got an Italian sub for breakfast.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so concluding here, I want to thank everyone who supports us on Patreon. You guys are awesome. Don't know why you do what you do. You're freaks of nature, but you're awesome. Thank everybody on our Facebook page and Facebook discussion group who participates in sending us questions. We really appreciate that. YouTube comments, SoundCloud, iTunes, Twitter, Twitch, Reddit, the Gurns. Once again, thanks for being awesome, man. He shouts us out all the time. He's a real nice guy. Link to him in the description if you're interested in just a streamer that streams nonstop. He's your guy. He's got lots of content. And all of our fellow explorers out there, you guys are awesome. I want to thank Science Dad for being on the show for the second time.
Honored to be on. Thank you.
It's been a long time. I think you were on the 8th episode, and now it's the 20th, so it has been a long time.
Wow.
That's scary.
So thank you for that. We really appreciate it and having you on. And thanks for JustJarrod for getting on finally after playing No Man's Sky so much and neglecting our Skype calls.
Wow. Wow.
It was really awesome having you on, man. You have some really good conversations.
It was so
I appreciate
fun.
how much you ramble.
Yeah.
Actually, it makes for good.
Can you tell how excited I was
You're
by
just
my
gonna
voice? It was great.
You're just gonna go to the comment section right away. It's like worst episode ever. Dylan wasn't even there.
Half star.
You guys are taking all my subscribers. I know it.
I went up like 1 subscriber in a whole week. You better watch out, buddy.
I've gone down 20 in a week, so they're
Oh
going
dang!
somewhere.
We're competing now. Let's see how many people can lose subscribers the fastest. Let's compete. Let's talk about the things that nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about controversy today, so no one's gonna like this episode because everybody wants to talk about
We
controversy.
didn't talk about Pokemon Go either.
Guys, we gotta talk about Pokemon
No,
Go.
no.
Let's talk
no,
about it. I haven't played it in a long time.
No, let's not.
So overhyped, guys. Pokemon Go. Oh my god. All right. Awesome. Thanks everybody for being on, and thanks to our listeners for listening. You guys are awesome. Adios.
Thanks, Ryan and
Peace.
Joel. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Peace out.